boom. Good morning, everybody. How the heck are y'all? Welcome to our second time of coffee, Sunday coffee with Dr. V. How the heck are you? It's a special Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday, man. Here we are. Who are you rooting for? Do you have a preference? You just want a good game? I just want a good game. I think the Chiefs will win, even though they're the underdogs. Just don't think San Francisco's ready yet, but they could be. Who knows? Welcome to the replay. If you're watching this on the replay, you can fast forward to the 5-minute mark. It's going to be a short one because I want you to get going with your day. But the whole point of this series is to give you guys some tips to really jumpstart your week. Cloud Gangsta, what's up? Sarah Elizabeth watching on YouTube. Yin Yang's here. If you're showing up as Facebook user, just give StreamYard permission. Mamie Wilson, good morning, Somerset, Kentucky. That's a beautiful area. Thelma Pacheco Gonzalez. Rosemary. What? Rosemary. Vicky Smith. Carla Bradley. What's up? Vicky Smith. Carla's going for the Chiefs. Who are you rooting for? Good morning. Mango Lady 932. That's interesting, Mango Lady. Sally Meadows. Australia, go to bed. You're at work. What are you doing at work? It's Sunday. So who are you rooting for? Super Bowl Sunday. Hit the share button. Hit the like button. Let's get 100 people in here. We're at 40. That's good. Denise Henry's on. I love having all these numbers, these names coming back every time. Getting there. I do a big pitch tomorrow. Ying Yang is going for the 49ers because she lives in San Francisco. Yep. Anita Louise. Hi, KC. You think Kansas City, huh? All right. Lori, good morning. Who are you going for? Go Chiefs. All right. Go Chiefs, of course. All right. Jose, 49ers. I just want a good game, I think the Chiefs will win in a very close game. I think Patrick Mahomes will have his moment. Hopefully neither one of the quarterbacks get hurt, and then we can have just like a shootout. Now, if one of the quarterbacks get hurt, then that's problematic. Stay positive for sure. Let's have a good game. Hit the share button, hit the like button. We have 2 more minutes, and we'll get going. Yes. Did I make a bet? Come on. I like to bet little props. So like Patrick Mahomes to get more than 300 yards, that sort of stuff. Yeah, I went through a period when I was getting my shit together where I didn't watch any sports, gave up everything, including football. I love that. Thank you so much, Jose. We're gonna talk about some things. I'm talking about some bullshit stuff happening in this world. Maybe what I'll do is I'll do some news updates while we're waiting for the people. Not to start off the day on a negative note, but it's gonna be a crazy week. It's gonna be a crazy year it's an election year. I just realized this week that this month it's actually a leap year because 2000 was a leap year. Now 2020 was a leap year. Now 2024 is also a leap year. So this month of February, there's actually 29 days. This February, did you realize that? 29 days. So, oh yeah, well, you're your Australian colleague. So do you watch Australian rules football? Leap years. Yes. Leap years for sure. Grape skunk. That's an interesting one. Love it. We're gonna have crazy politics stuff. There's a bad snowstorm that's going through the East Coast. That's going to hit like New Jersey, New York area, Pennsylvania area. So y'all stay safe. Here in Houston, it's been cloudy and overcast for the last couple of days. But today at noon, it's going to be sunny and 70 degrees. And by the time the game starts, 5 p.m., it's going to be 77 degrees here in Houston. Oh, I love Houston weather. In fact, if you guys want to come visit Houston, come after Valentine's Day, like beginning of March. The azaleas will be in bloom. Drive through River Oaks and look at all the azaleas in bloom. It's just really amazing, All right, we got 63 people. Hit the share button, everybody. Get some more people in here. Hey, Brenda. AC, what's going on? No way. My friend's baby was born on 29th of February. Oh no. Raining in North Texas. Yeah, it's great weather. So, all right, we're at the 5 minute mark. Let's get started. It's already been 5 minutes. Can you believe it? Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special Super Bowl Sunday edition. Itch my nose. Allergies. Some people during the pandemic, they were like, why should I listen to this guy scratching his nose like he's on cocaine? Like, oh man, I wish I was on cocaine. I'd be such a more interesting life. Like, it's just allergies. And then I go back and I watch my videos and I go, oh man, I need to stop doing that shit. I can't help it. It's itchy. And it only gets itchy when I start to go live. What's up? Like all these regular people showing up. That's awesome. Okay. Welcome to a special Super Bowl Sunday edition with Sunday Coffee with Dr. V. We're going to jumpstart your week. Okay. First of all, don't believe the hype. I was telling my private group this morning, I was like, I sure hope no one has surgeries or procedures scheduled for Super Bowl Monday. And if you do, if you have an appointment, if you have a surgery scheduled, just be prepared to run late. They'll be running behind schedule. Oh, yes. Chinese New Year's. Totally forgot. Happy Lunar New Year. It's Chinese New Year today. So, Year of the Dragon. Anyway, so if you have surgery on Super Bowl Monday, be prepared to run late because there's a lot of people who call in sick on Super Bowl Monday. I'm sick. Like, sure you are, dude. Sure you are. It happens all the time. So, get ready for that. Bad way to start your week, you know. We're talking about, continuation of our New Year's challenge. Like, don't be average. Average American is overweight. Average American is living paycheck to paycheck. The average American cannot handle a $500 emergency. Average 60% divorce rate. So average American are not loving in their marriages. 80% of Americans are disengaged at work. So don't be average, man. Don't be average. Average Americans will drink a lot of beer and alcohol today. And will probably lose a lot of money wagering. Every now and then you win something. I have $100 on some squares. It's $50 squares, so $1,000 a quarter. Hopefully, I'll win a quarter. That'd be good. And then I'm probably going to wager the remaining $400 that I have in my betting account. That's not Dr. V. You just said don't be average, and average people are going to like bet and wager and lose a lot of money. Small potatoes. It's like Money Mayweather spending $1.1 million on a Super Bowl suite. There's nothing for him. Hopefully, I think. I don't know. I remember there was this CBS News report. This is probably 15 years ago with 50 Cent, the rapper. And he was, they were touting him as being this awesome investor and businessman. And he had bought this house, this compound in Connecticut. It's a big house, and he's investing in real estate, yada, yada, yada. And then he was getting into all sorts of businesses. And someone looked this up, but about 5 years ago, before the pandemic, I think, like 50 Cent went bankrupt. And so you have to be careful. So I don't really know how much money Mayweather has. It's kind of like Mike Tyson. At the time, he won something like $250 million, $500 million in purse winnings, and had made more money than any other boxer in history. And he went bankrupt. Those tigers are expensive. Who remembers The Hangover? Mike Tyson shows the tigers. Hilarious. He's missing the tooth. So funny. So average Americans are going to start off this week hungover and a little bit lighter in the pocketbook. And I don't want that to be you. I want you to have a little bit more money in your pocketbook because you won the square, or you got your bet, or there's so much craziness about like you can bet shit like like how long until they show Taylor Swift, and who will get more airtime, that sort of stuff. Like Reba McEntire, I guess, is singing the national anthem, and you can bet on whether or not it goes longer or shorter than 90 seconds. Like, wow, Reba McEntire. So you never really know when people, you think Jake Paul's making all this money, you think these influencers. I was talking to a friend of mine in my mastermind who wants to become an influencer. He's a businessman. He wants to pivot to influencer, and he's well off. He's doing good. And I was started laughing. I was like, dude, you're wanting to do what I've done, and I want to do what you're doing, what you've done. I want to build a real business and employees and all sorts of stuff. So he has this. He does a lot of stuff, but it's one business he has a refrigeration company with his brother, and he services and runs. If you live here in Texas, like the refrigeration for all of the fiestas. There's a there's a Mexican grocery chain called Fiesta here in Houston, and I think they have locations in Dallas. And they service and run all of the refrigeration for Fiesta, like grocery store. I was like, "Get out." He goes, "Yeah, we have offices in Houston and Dallas." I said, "I live in Houston." Like, "How often do you go to Houston?" He goes, like, several times a year." I said, "Well, come over next time." So then he's like, he wants to go into counseling and become an influencer. And I was like, "What?" Yeah, here you go. See? Well, that's my buddy who runs the refrigeration company for it. And I said to him, I said, I want to give you one word of warning. And he said, what? I said, when the pandemic hit, like right before the pandemic hit, everybody was trying to be a YouTuber, influencer, that sort of stuff, right? And then when the pandemic hit, it exposed a lot of people, right? A lot of fake influencers. They disappeared. Comment if you're like, wait a minute. They totally did. And who's that? I'm drawing a blank on her name. She broke out with her book, Girl Wash Her Face. And she and her husband became influencers, and they live in Austin. And they were running like these couples retreats on like how to up your partner and your marriage, and they would host retreats. And somebody put her name in. Girl Wash Her Face. I'm drawing a blank on her name. And then uh, um, they got divorced. Yeah, they got divorced. Rachel, what's her name? Rachel Hollis. Rachel Hollis. Yeah, yeah. The Hollises. Um, and then shortly thereafter, they they got divorced. And I was like, Erica, did you see that? They got divorced. And I said there's something sneaky about that, like they're supposed to be teaching couples on how to like build a real empire. They were doing the Grant Cardone, Elena Cardone model. And then I guess it's been 2 years now, probably. Like, yeah. So the husband died, and then all of these social media influencers were posting about what a great man he was. And I was like, I don't know, bro. And then the autopsy comes out, and he was full of drugs. And he died of a accidental fentanyl overdose. And he had this huge drug problem. And so you have to be careful. There's a lot of fake influencers. And someone asked me one time what I did. I said, well, I used to be a surgeon, but I retired. It was, what do you do now? I'm like, I'm a stay-at-home dad. I like to cook. I like to garden. And then somebody was like, are you that guy on YouTube? I say, aren't you a doctor on YouTube? I'm like, yeah. Yeah. And I was like, "What? I guess I am." I'm a YouTube influencer. And then I get recognized like probably once a week when I go out in public. If I had my hair done right, my little faux hawk, if I had that. See, oh, there he is. Dr. V's back. uh, but I mean, like I don't shave, kind of grizzly, haven't brushed my hair. This is what it is. So, tip number one, guess I should give you guys some tips, right? 2024. You guys need to think about this because we have a lot of fakes and phonies. And if you can be authentic, it'll save you a lot of headaches. Do you understand that? Just put yourself in the Hollis's situation. They're out in this world. They're holding themselves out there as like this awesome couple, this power couple, and yet internally they're really struggling. And I don't want to. I mean, I think they were Mormon. I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure because some of the people that were backing them were like part of the Mormon tribe, which is fine. Nothing against that. But I don't know if they separated from the church or what they were doing, but uh, can you imagine like the internal turmoil you have if you're trying to put yourself up as this wholesome person and yet you have a drug problem or an alcohol problem, which is a lot of people, by the way, a lot of these influencers. Um, I'm kind of what I tell you. I don't shave. I showered yesterday. That's good. I mean, when the pandemic hit, the joke in my private group was like I went a week without showering one time. And don't be fake. That's right. That's right. This is Melissa Porter's totally right. You got to be yourself. Um, and you're better off if you struggle. It's better to admit you struggle, right? In my private group, like when the pandemic hit and boy, everything was locked down, it was like we're either all going to come out with six pack abs or we're all going to become alcoholics. And I saw that meme. I was like, oh, I better start doing some sit ups. Instead, we drank way too much. And I like my glass of wine. Um, but there was a time there, man, during the pandemic, and actually for the last couple of years, for the first couple of years, for sure, we were doing way too many Bloody Marys and Greyhounds and bourbons. Um, I can't. I mean, I love old fashions. I make a killer old fashioned. Can't do it. So really, for I would say the last year or so, I've really cut out like hard liquor. I can't go down. I quit hard liquor, and then I get talked into a bourbon, into an old fashioned, and then boy, it's tough. It's such a mellow buzz, but boy, it's hard to stop, and then it's harder for me to get back on track. Now, if I did drugs, I'd tell you I do drugs. I've never done drugs, and I'll tell you why. Um, my dad and I were like peas and carrots. My dad's passed on 2000 January 2009, and when I left for college, and I grew up in this little town in East Texas called Longview. I went to the same high school as Matthew McConaughey, and I saw him one day. We were too far apart. When he was a senior, I was in eighth grade. So when I went to ninth grade to the high school, he had already graduated and went to UT. But when I was in eighth grade, I went to a football game because my best friend, older brother, played in the band, and they all played in the band. And so, like, we went to the football game, and I saw this Adonis, and I'm not gay, Adonis of a man. When you're in middle school, like high school kids seem like grown, like they seem so old, right? They seem so mature. I saw this Adonis of a man in a Lobo Letterman jacket, like laughing and smiling, bright teeth. I was like, good God, who is that? That was Matthew McConaughey. Anyway, when I left for college, I went to Rice here in Houston. And the morning that weekend when I packed up my Toyota Tercel, is what I drove, and I was leaving for college. And that morning, as I was about to leave, my dad. I've only seen my dad cry twice. Once when my old neighbor, we called him Grandpa Charles. He was a old white neighbor. When he died, I saw my dad cry. And in the morning I left for college, my dad cried. And he told me he loved me. First time my dad ever told me he loved me was when I was leaving for college. And he starts crying. He says, "Duck, make me one promise." I said, "What?" He said, "Don't do drugs." He goes, this friend of ours' son went off to college and he got into drugs, and I don't want you to do drugs. I said, "Dad, I promise I'll never do drugs. I've never done drugs." So I laugh when people go, "He's rubbing his nose like he's on cocaine." Like, I promise you, I have no interest in smoking a crack pipe or anything. Doesn't do it for me. But if you ever come over for dinner at my house, I'm serving you probably a tomahawk steak with a glass of wine, with a Cabernet. That's just the way it is. And so I sit there and go, "Well, do I have a drinking problem? Are you an alcoholic?" Like, I don't think so. How do you know? And then I talk to my friends who are like, "I've been sober 35 years, or I've been sober 20 years, or whatever." And I said, "No, I think it's just the pandemic thing. I think I need to take a break." And they all say what? They all say, "Yeah, I said the same thing too." I was talking to this one friend of mine who's like sober 20 years, and I said, "I really think I need to cut." This was a couple of years ago. I said, "I need to cut back on my drinking. It's just way too much. I'm just in a fog all day." And I said, "But I don't think I have a problem with alcohol." He goes, "I know. I said the same thing too." I said, "I don't like this idea, this whole like I'm powerless against alcohol. Like, I get the steps and I get, Bob and Bob's friends and all that sort of stuff, AA." And I said, "But I'm really bothered by this whole part where you have to say I'm powerless against alcohol." And I said, "So explain that to me." He said, "Well, if a bottle of wine is sitting over there, a bottle of alcohol sitting over there, it doesn't bother me. I'm not powerless against that. I'm powerless when I pick it up." I said, "Oh, that's interesting. Okay, okay. So it's helping me, right? So I'm powerless when I pick up the glass. Okay, all right. So what I have to do is not pick up the glass." I said, "What happens when you pick up the glass?" And he goes, "Next thing I know, I'm calling my cocaine dealer." And I said, "Aha! That's the difference between me and you." I don't have a cocaine dealer, Like, go put I don't blow all my savings on bets, or I don't go to the strip club, or I don't end up in a whore's room. I don't end up like at the Hangover with a missing tooth and and Mike Tyson's tigers and stuff. I just chill at home and have a couple glasses of wine. What's the big deal? All right. So be authentic. And some people go, "Well, you're a successful surgeon." And I was like, "I never made my money during in surgery." What? Like, yeah. I mean, all my money from surgery went to paying off my bankruptcy. What? What's the bankruptcy? So I used to not be able to tell people about that because I couldn't say the B word. Write this down. 2. Why? I'll write it in all caps so it shows up in the comments. And I want you to understand this because it really keeps you from getting what you want. Is this: shame is the worst emotion that you can feel. It is the lowest vibrational state. It's Everyone says it's way worse than fear, right? It's way worse than hate. It's shame. The worst feeling you can feel is shame. And never, ever, ever And how many of y'all have done this or had it done to you or have seen a parent say to their kids, shame, shame, shame on you. Shame on you for doing that. Shame on you for. Don't ever say that to your kids. I never say that to my kids. It's the worst emotion. So I couldn't say the word bankruptcy for the longest time. I couldn't tell anyone about it. I went through it by myself, right? And there was a period where when I was trying to come out of it and launching, I thought maybe I wanted to be a speaker and that sort of stuff. Like when I would say it, I would start crying. I couldn't even say the word bankruptcy. I would start crying. Because why? Because there's so much shame in this world around bankruptcy. Like, oh my God, like how did you go bankrupt? And then a friend of mine taught me this. And there are a few moments in your life that really make you change how you see your world. Okay. So I want to impart this to you guys. He said to me, man, America is great. I said, I know it's the best country in the world. Like everybody's like trying to leave their country to come to America. Like the Vietnamese boat people are trying to get to America. That was me. There were people walking through the jungles of El Salvador to try to get. They're walking for like 3 months, walking, trying to get to America. I'm not saying it's right, that there are legal ways, blah, blah, blah. That's not the point. The point is people are killing themselves to get here. My friend whose business, I was telling you about the refrigeration business for Fiesta. His older brother brought him over the States when he was 12. And his older brother was like 20. And his dad and regular family stayed at home, stayed in Mexico. They made it in America, sent money back, etc. His dad's still in Mexico. Actually, dad has since passed away a couple of years ago. So, my friend said, America is such a great country. I said, it is. It's the best country in the world. I said, I don't disagree. He goes, do you know why it's great? I said, why? He goes, because America wants you to go for your dreams. It's the only country that says, go for it, man. Go for your dreams. And he goes, and if you fail, what if I fail? If you fail, America is willing to forgive you for failing. That forgiveness is called bankruptcy. And that changed how I saw my past and my life and my future. America wants you to go for your dreams, y'all. So much so that if you fail, America is willing to forgive you. And that forgiveness is called bankruptcy. Dude, when I heard that, my whole life really, really changed. So then I started telling the story of my bankruptcy, what I went through. And I heard like the feedback from people was like, holy crap, like you went through that? I mean, I was down to my last night. I mean, at one point, I thought my family would be better off without me. And I was just like, dude, just don't do anything, Doug. Just wait till the next morning. Just wait till the sunrise. And I'm not a religious man, but when you're having hard times, that's when you start praying to God. And I was like, dear Lord, if I see the sunrise, if you will allow me to see the sunrise, then I promise I will be a different human. I promise I will do good. I promise I will never be in this way again. So I woke up and I saw the sunrise. I could not believe it. So there's this forgiveness. Listen to me, whatever you're struggling with right now, whatever you're going through right now, whether it's a lawsuit, a divorce, infighting, you caught your husband cheating on you, whatever it is, your boss, co-workers, it's okay. It will be okay. It will all work out. So I started sharing the story of my bankruptcy. and it really changed how people perceive me and my role, etc., and my book sales and stuff like that. And I actually got to retire not because of money from surgery; it was because of my online courses and my book sales and stuff. And it wasn't big baller money. And I said, Erica, man, I'm making enough that I don't actually have to work if we keep costs down. And poor Dr. V was like, poor Erica. I mean, poor Dr. V. She went from this world class surgeon who wore a suit every single day to being with a guy in a hoodie like all day long, sweatpants. Not quite the same. And then the pandemic hit, and now I look like a genius. In this world right now, if you look at, there are a lot of fakes and phonies out there. There are a lot of people claiming to be billionaires who are not billionaires. Billionaires. You know who I'm talking about. There is a powerful leader, I don't want to call him a leader, who claims to be a great businessman. And all of my friends who are in business is like, what the fuck are people thinking? He's not a great businessman. Everything he touches goes to shit. I'm like, true that. Here's my point. It doesn't matter like how you vote, red or blue or whatever. Just think about this for a second. And I'm not, man, the old guy that's blue is not much better. But just think about it. If you cannot get past your opinions and see somebody for the fraud that they really are, and you're willing to accept an ideology above the character of this person, you're in for trouble. You can stay Republican or Democrat, it doesn't matter. Both ways. Like I really think Biden is barely hanging on. I mean, but dude, compared to the chaos, if you can't look at a fraud and go, okay, this is not a good person. You've got other judgment issues in your life. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? And it could be anybody. Okay, so about a year ago, I told Erica, I said, there's something weird going on with Elon Musk. And it wasn't the whole pot smoking thing on the Joe Rogan show. I was like, he's sweaty. He's speaking. He's really erratic. Like I would watch him on stage, and at the time it was like, oh, it's his autism showing up, right? I'm like, ah. And now, like all of this shit's come out that like him and his board members are doing drugs together and shit. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy, you know? So I think authenticity, you kind of figure it out, right? I live by that religion. You know, my Dr. V, what's your religion? The don't be a dick religion. You know? Is that so hard? Like, just don't be a dick. Be kind. And I think that if you will focus on authenticity, in fact, let me do this right now. Is there what area of your life that you feel you're not being authentic in? And I'll give you a few. Finances. Like your family members, let's say you have a good job, and let's say you're bringing home $150,000 a year, and your family members think you're balling and you got it, and they keep coming to you for, hey, can you lend me $500? Can you lend me this? Da, 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 da. But you're living paycheck to paycheck. That's a very common one where they think Americans doing great, but you've got a BMW payment, you got this $500,000 mortgage payment, you've got kids in college, and you're barely living paycheck to paycheck. That's a very common one. There are a lot of people, today's Sunday, a lot of people who go to church and they will spout off the 10 commandments. And then during the week, Like break 5 of them. 5 of the 10 commandments, right? That's a good way to do it. It's, you know, um, there are some people that hold themselves up as being like the Hollises, like a power couple, like being in love and whatever. And they're, and then you're like, what? They got divorced, or they're on Facebook saying that their family's everything, and the guy has a hussy on the side. What area in your life are not you not being authentic about? I will tell you, and we've all know somebody or ourselves proclaim to be spiritual or religious, and no, we're not. Like we're not acting that way, and we make excuses for it, right? I'll give you one that's kind of tough because I know most of my following is obesity, but you say I'm made in the image of God. My body's a temple. Why are you 100 pounds overweight? I can do everything. I can do anything through God except lose weight. Like, what? Well, Dr. V, I'm not perfect. I'm a sinner. It's through Jesus that I'm saved. Well, don't you believe in Jesus? Yes. Why are you still fat? Dr. V, that is so rude. Well, come on. Let me go about another way. Maybe you can't lose the weight because you're holding on to this hypocrisy, because you're holding on to this inauthenticity, that you're misaligned between what your spirituality and what you're saying. Does that make sense? So instead of Dr. V, you're a dick, like, oh, Dr. V, you might have a point. Like you need to clear that up internally. Am I a good spiritual person or not? How can I say I'm made in the image of God who can do anything, and I can do anything through God and I'm living paycheck to paycheck? I can do anything through God and I don't think I'm lovable or worth love. You know these people? Oh, my problem, Dr. V, is I don't love myself enough. What? Colleen, called out, Doc. It's true. And I know, Colleen, you're a good person. Has nothing to do with it. So you have to sit back and sit there and go, okay, do I really believe I can do anything through God? If the answer is yes, then lose the fucking weight. Why not? It's not that easy, Dr. V. There are hormones and chemicals and imbalances. They put junk food in here. Yeah, don't eat the junk food. But it's delicious. Okay, then stay overweight. You know these people that are broke all the time, living paycheck to paycheck. They're always stressed out, and then they'll say, "Yeah, but money doesn't make you happy. Money doesn't buy you happiness. Broke don't buy anything. What does broke buy you?" See, they're misaligned with their financial understanding. So I tell my tribe all the time, I'm like, dude, Eric and I work on our relationship. Now that I've identified this bed and breakfast. In case you're just joining in, I forgot to tell y'all, I made an offer, a lowball offer on the bed and breakfast, and it got accepted. Yee! So now I'm going to raise the money to buy the bed and breakfast. And Eric and I have been talking about it. Even before we made the offer. We were talking. There's a reason why I'm telling you all this. We spend our days talking about, like, okay, we're gonna move to this bed and breakfast. We're gonna run it. We're gonna operate. We're gonna live in the mountains. And then we talked about, like, what do we do for school? I'm like, dude, we can homeschool if it's horrible or whatever. So yeah. So we're gonna move. I'm gonna pitch it tomorrow at Private Money Club. But well, Dr. V, like I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you, like, oh, I could pay cash for it because I can't. Like, I don't have $2 million, and so I'm just like, well, I'm gonna raise the money for it. Well, I just tell you what I'm doing, And just like I tell you, like Eric and I work in our relationship, we talk about the life we want. We talk about like, we don't want to feel stuck. You know, we work on our relationships. What really matters to you? I want to hold your hand. I want you to. I mean, the whole love language book. Like my love language is touch, and it's not appreciation, but I like to be told. I like to be complimented, to told that they recognize me for like my good cooking, right, or my good skills, or what that I bring value. That what I do, I bring value. I can't remember. I'm losing the word on that. You totally have to do that. Daily work, right? So what the this takes me back to shame. Let me take it back to obesity really quick because 104 people watching. Shame is the worst emotion you can feel. And there's so much shame you guys have around food and food choices. Put a truth on in the comment section if you recognize if you understand that. Oh, that's it. Words of affirmation. So put truth if you understand this. You guys get hung up because there's a lot of shame around you guys and food. Does that make sense? Like you can't you and maybe not you, but like a lot. Like I had a patient tell me one time, like a husband was like, I don't know why my wife is overweight. She never eats. And I'm like, she never eats in front of you, maybe, but she's eating. Like, no, no, doc, I promise you. Like if we have food, she'll eat this small plate, and no big deal. I said, well, we'll work on it. Well, later in group, she told the whole group after she had her surgery, she goes, I used to drive home, and let's say my family was wanted pizza that night, and I said I would order two pizzas, one for the family, one for me, and I would eat the second pizza in the car, throw away the box, come home, bring in one pizza, and then my husband would be like, "Hey, it's dinner time. You want to eat?" And I said, "No, no, I'm not hungry. I won't eat." So I don't eat in front of him, but I already had my pizza out in the car. Now, if you think about that story, that is like a lot of shame and guilt and bad emotions wrapped up in that. Now, why you feel that's a different story. So the first thing you have to do is you have to sit down with this, like, this thing where you go, okay, I really have a lot of shame, right? I really have a lot of shame around food. I have a lot of shame around finances. I have whatever your issue is. And you don't have to deal with all of them. Just pick one. Pick one area and say, I'm just gonna sit. Tip number next one. Pick one. This is what I tell my private tribe. Pick one area and then just sit with it. Just sit with it for a little bit. Just sit with this idea about food. Where is that coming from? Why do I feel this way about money? Why is it every time my daughter asks me for money, I get all triggered? Or my husband asks me what I spent the credit card on, I get all triggered. Why is it that I don't check my bank account every day? I check my bank accounts every day, by the way. Every day I look at it. Pick one. Well, what do I do? What do I do? Don't do anything. Just sit with it. It could be your marriage, it could be a recent divorce, separation. It could be your spirituality. You might want to confront like this whole religion thing. Why did I grow up believing this? I used to believe this, now I believe this. Just sit with it. Try it on for size. You know, do I really love my job? Do I really love my life? Do I really love my friends? Oh no, Dr. V, my family's everything to me. Why are you overweight? Oh, it's my family's fault. You know, it's like you blame everything on your family. So why do you say your family's everything to you? I can say my family's everything to me. I got, look, my arms are this big. I have just enough room to hold Erica, hold Kizzy, hold Mason, and then put baby Milani on my hip. That's all the breath I have right here. That's it. In other words, I ain't got room for other family members. I don't have room for cousins. Cousin has drama? Sorry that's happening to you, but I don't need to hear about it. You know what I mean? Old college roommate has trouble. Bro, I haven't talked to you in 30 years. You know, not my problem. I got this much room. You know, it's like that old when you used to go to like a church dance or something like that, and you'd be dancing, and the chaperone would come by and say, hey, you guys are dancing too close. You got to leave a little room for the Holy Ghost. Got to leave a little room for the Holy Ghost. It's like, that's all the room I've got. That's all I got. I sit with that. Sit with that. And then if you're like, if I am made in the image of God, then I can do anything, then why am I living paycheck to paycheck? Why am I stuck in this marriage? Why am I living here? Why am I driving this shitty car? Why am I living in this little apartment where I don't want to live? Why do I even live in the city? To be close to family members that I don't even like? You see what I'm saying? So there's nothing to do. It's just sitting. Pick out your journal or a piece of paper and you just jot down some shit and you see what comes with it. And what happens then? And you do it again. 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 Until one day you realize, like, oh shit, it's me. It's me. I did this. It's not the orange man's fault. It's not the senile man's fault. It's not the economy. It's not the border. It's not the war. It's not Israel. It's not Palestine. It's me. It's not the weather. It's not traffic. It's not the feds. It's me. It's me. And that's how you start. Love y'all very much. See you next Sunday, same time, same channel. If you loved it, hit the share button, hit the like button. Appreciate y'all. See y'all next week. Have a great week, y'all. And let's have a good Super Bowl game today.